The date, April 1957. The place, Hamm, Westphalia. The occasion, the beginning of a new school term. 5 years have elapsed since the Windsor School was inaugurated under its first headmaster, Brian Aspinall. Once again, after a holiday, buildings and grounds stand desolate, awaiting the arrival of the 500 children of servicemen stationed in Germany, who will give a meaning and purpose to the present emptiness. At last, the buses begin to arrive. Pupils and their cases are unloaded outside the houses. Willi, the German bus driver, gives a helping hand. Luggage problems are soon overcome. And unpacking is quickly completed so that there is time for the more interesting activities of walking and talking. For the new entrants, this is the beginning of a grand adventure. For the old hands, it is a time to renew acquaintanceships and exchange holiday experiences. By the next morning, school is underway and the normal routine of lessons has commenced. Although most scholars arrive earlier than this fellow. Both mathematics and the practical consideration of rearing chickens and ducks have a part to play in the wide curriculum of secondary education. Crafts, too, offer many opportunities for manual skills and creative artistry. The history lesson may be out of doors if the weather permits. After lessons come other outdoor pursuits. Fun and games in the swimming pool. Cricket practice. Or if you happen to be in the CCF, there is exercise of another kind. Athletics proves very popular. Tennis, too, has its followers. all activities providing more than sufficient expenditure of energy to ensure a good night's sleep. Drama is a vital part of school life, and the summer is a good time for an outdoor performance of Christopher Fry's Boy with a Cart by the third form. The audience waits excitedly and is soon absorbed by the simple, humorous, yet powerful story. The Whitsun Fete, which raises money for the School Amenities Fund, is a gay affair. After an official opening by the Command Secretary and Mrs. Starling, the raffle ticket sellers start on their rounds. More visitors arrive, while others are hopefully expected. Bowl a man out of the cricket nets and win half a crown. You can fish for table tennis balls. Or perhaps join in the fancy dress parade. You can try your skill on the bicycle obstacle course. You can maneuver a hoop, either large or perhaps small. Or you can angle for drinks. On the field, there is a fine display of Scottish sword dancing. As the evening approaches, the Seaforth Highlanders beach retreat in the traditional manner. They're watched by the whole of the school and visitors. Well, nearly all. time to clear away the sideshows and talk of what has been. During the summer holidays, a great work of conversion to a boys' school took place. New workshops were built and the necessary machinery installed. Crafts were to be a strong point of the new school, and the enthusiasm of the boys in lessons and activities like model engineering gave rise to fine craftsmanship. The handling of the new power machinery was soon learnt by the boys, and it became used with growing confidence. The finished products could well bear the proud inscription, "Made at Windsor." Pottery too expanded, the installation of several new wheels enabling many more boys to experiment in throwing their own pots. Once successfully thrown, the pot has to be decorated, glazed, and baked in the kiln. Puppet heads are first sculptured in plasticine. They are then cut in half to form molds for the plaster of Paris. After coating the halves with oil, the solution is poured carefully over them, the plasticine being removed when the plaster is set. These plaster molds, in their turn, are filled with plastic wood, from which the final head is made, painted and dressed. Mr. Schofield, I presume? Lessons continue throughout the morning. And then comes a welcome break for a visit to the dining hall. Any complaints? It doesn't look like it. And then for some, it is back to the library for work again. Boat building, too, has its adherents. But hovering in the background for most senior pupils is the final vital test of the public examination, be it GCE, RSA, or service apprenticeship. Sporting events have a strong but transient appeal, involving as they do physical prowess and house rivalries. The cross-country is no exception. The event is certainly enjoyed by the spectators. The competitors, too, seem none the worse for their exertions. The health of the school is in capable hands. This is not the most popular chair in the school, but very necessary. Open wide. This won't hurt a bit. Regular visits from the mobile X-ray unit are a feature of the school health service. One fine day, the boys on their half-day walk were delighted to see that the girls had moved down to Hamm from Plymouth, where they had spent the autumn term while their new school was being prepared. They seemed to have made themselves at home, despite life's ups and downs. Among the first public functions of the Windsor Girls' School was the awarding of the Queen's Guide Badge to Elizabeth Wright by Mrs. Eubank. An enormous bonfire, a human effigy, and a case of fireworks are part of the intensive and eager preparations for one of the most popular and spectacular occasions of the school year, the 5th of November, when historical tradition forms a pretext for primitive pagan rites. The colourful pile of Catherine wheels, Guy Fawkes mines, Roman candles, and rockets grows steadily. The boys fit the sticks to the rocket heads and look forward to the night. Evening approaches. The signal is given. The sky is swept by bursting particles of light. Dark forms are silhouetted against the red blaze of the great fire. And except for the silver parabolic tracery, one can be witnessing a martyr's death at Smithfield. Such somber thoughts are soon dispelled by the sight of little children's faces watching the rockets and the cavorting spiral nebulae of the Catherine wheels. Soon the 30 pounds worth of controlled chemical combustion is no more than a memory and a pile of glowing embers. A more formal occasion is Remembrance Sunday, symbolized in the Flanders poppy of the First Great War. Scouts, guides, and CCF, together with a contingent from the local garrison, parade at the flagstaff. A special firing party makes ready for the salute. In a moment of solemn silence, the head boy approaches with a poppy wreath and lays it at the foot of the flagstaff. The last post sounds, and the flag is slowly lowered to half-mast. The salute is fired. The simple but moving and effective ceremony is over. The ordered ranks melt into long November shadows. In the summer term, Thursday afternoon is the highlight of the week for members of the school sailing club. A bus takes them the 25 miles to the Monasee, where Sharpie and Star-class boats lie ready at their moorings. Clip on the gypsum, fly the burgee, hoist the mainsail, and make a few essential knots. And the boats are ready to sail. Setting out, the water creaming at the bows, sheets held firmly, makes school routine seem a long way off. The boats are alive, powerful, insensitive to the pull of a rope, and the gentlest of pressure on the tiller as the helmsman guides the sweet-flowing hull through the sparkling water. After returning to moorings and stowing the sails tidily, there may be time for a swim before the bus leaves for Hamm. A weekend sport against Prince Rupert School offers an opportunity for a boxing contest. Timekeepers, referee, judges, competitors, and seconds are closely watched by the school. Boxing is clean and courageous. Each blow effectively landed, adding to the score. The tension mounts as the senior matches approach. After strenuous battles, the result is a close win for Windsor. The climax of the school year, perhaps, is the speech day. Everyone is on show. The summer sunshine sets off the fine display of gymnastics on the school field, in which a variety of vaulting is performed. General Castles, the Commander-in-Chief, and other guests see some exciting judo. Many throws are expertly demonstrated. Nothing personal, old man. Finally, there is the Guard of Honor. After a close inspection and a friendly word with the gun crew, the Commander-in-Chief departs in his sleek black Jaguar. After several weeks of severe rain and storms, the rivers around Hamm became swollen and overflowed their banks, submerging many of the roads to a depth of some feet. The school was completely surrounded by water. The boiler room was flooded to a depth of 14 feet. Normal pumping was ineffectual, despite continual 24-hour operation. The school could only be reached in 3-ton lorries with their high chassis clearance. Stores and bedding were flooded as water spread to other cellars and communications became more and more difficult. Sewerage became a serious problem when the rising water prevented the proper action of the drains. Staff and pupils going to and from school had to travel on the 3-ton truck ferry service. Civilian workers too traveled on this service. After a few days of difficult supply lines, no heating and bad drainage, it was decided to close the school. The Stadt Fire Brigade, the 30,000 gallons an hour pump, were able to lower the level of water in the main boiler room, but nevertheless the pupils went home early to their Christmas holidays. And at last the waters went down from the face of the earth. With the beginning of the new term, it was a return to normal school life again. Tidying up operations in the morning, and then off to assembly. Trivial round begins in earnest. Old faces greet the boys, and heads are once again bowed in study. The bustle of the day continues. Problems are put to inquiring minds as well as to the electrical computer. For the lucky ones, lessons can be out of doors, when practical geography is the subject. The symbols on the map come to life. And getting your bearings becomes more than a metaphor. After lunch comes the moment most boys have been eagerly awaiting all day, the arrival of the post. Escorted by a throng of young hopefuls, matron brings mail to the house. The lucky ones receive their parcels and letters. In the rest period, leisure pursuits occupy a brief oasis of calm amid the turmoil of the day. Rest period ends. Bearing their motley burdens in ones and twos, dozens, and finally, in hundreds, the boys return to work in classroom, and to the laboratory. Whilst in one quiet corner of a foreign field, rural science is carried on. School over, more violent exercise can be enjoyed, with a round ball or an oval one. Even the padre giving his blessing to the scrum. A good shower, and a brisk rub down, and it's a return to indoor hobbies. Making models, or making tea. The staff, too, welcome an opportunity for creative leisure. Sundays at Windsor have a pattern all their own. The morning light greets the early riser on his way to Holy Communion in the chapel of St. Boniface. After breakfast comes the weekly letter home. Whilst for some there is choir practice. And preparation for morning service. As the organ plays the voluntary, the choir process to their places, and the familiar service of morning prayer begins. In their own special school prayer, the boys pray that they may add something worthy to the tradition of Windsor School. A senior boy reads the lesson. Choir, congregation, and clergy all take their part in the service, together with the staff. With the service over, the chapel steps provide a setting for the exchange of greetings and discussion. Boys may start informal games, or perhaps wander further afield to buy sweets at the German kiosk in the Austin Alley, where the girls also congregate. The purchase of 5 pfennigs worth of boiled sweets seems to be a tremendous spur to language study. A fine Sunday afternoon will find pupils visiting the Go Park for a pleasant walk and talk, watched by the dignified inhabitant who has seen this sort of thing before.